Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. And we're talking about Big Brother.
Yes, we are going to recap the Sunday episode and then talk about spoilers from this weekend on the live feed.
Yes, so we open up on Sunday's episode with the completion of the HOH competition that started in the last live episode, the last live eviction.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first 40 minutes is really when we get just about everybody out. Jess and Nicole are out first. And then everyone else starts to drop.
Yeah, Sam drops, Nick drops. Like, Sam and Nick are really the two who are feeling like, I really need to win this HOH.
It was really like, can Sam or Nick do it? As soon as I see what it is, no, they cannot.
No, they cannot. Like, I think 17 minutes and both of them were out.
So they're out of it. But at 40 minutes, we're down to the final four.
Yeah.
Which are basically all working together.
Right.
Except Kat and
Jackson. We get some packages, right? Like in the midst of the HOH comp happening. Like the first one is with Nick kind of trying to blow up Christy's game a little bit. So we're seeing cracks start to form in that side of the house, which is like promising for all us people who are kind of sick of watching them just reign over the house.
Yep.
But then there's this other package that really highlights how horrible Jackson has been to Kat over the course of this season. And so she's kind of like very focused on beating him, not necessarily winning HOH, but staying up longer than Jackson and making sure he does not win.
Yes, I mean, I love this. I love that she's like, I don't care if I win, I'm going to beat Jackson.
Yeah, I'm proving a point.
That's winning to me.
Yeah.
And she was like, it's petty, sure, but that's what I'm doing. And I totally feel her on that.
Yeah.
Just that morning, Thursday morning, they got into a fight. He's yelling at her, berating her like he does.
Yeah.
And she's in tears, being like, she's like, I can't. Like, he yells at me all the time. Like, there are obviously going to be breaking points.
You can't take that abuse.
How many times can you take it? Exactly.
Yes, right.
She tries to take it for the game for the most part, but so that's why on Thursday night's episode she was like, I vote to evict Mickey, and we're like, he's not on the block, and she's like, I'm gonna do that every week until he's gone. It is Kat's vibe. She's like, he got to go, and honestly I can't wait for Kat to take him down, because
please, that will be so satisfying.
Beautiful.
Right, so he drops, and then like 1 minute later she drops.
She's like, I
don't need to win this HOH, I just needed to beat you, and I did, so I'm gonna drop.
Yes, she
did.
Then
it's down to Holly and Sis, and meanwhile, like, as people are dropping, this was not on the live feeds, but people are like drawing for punishment during this HOH, and the two people who get it are Christy and Tommy, and it's a poison ivy punishment, which we find out more about later.
We get to see that, So now, being down to Holly and Sis, you're like, they're both 6-shooters. They are also really good friends. Like, they're pretty tight, just as girls. And you're like, why are we continuing on for another hour? With just the two of them?
Why are we competing so hard here?
But it has a lot to do with Jackson.
He won't shut up.
Jackson is worried, even though he's still a 6-shooter. In the back of his mind, he knows that Christy has said his name. Because
Nick told him so.
So that is a concern of his, and he's like, Holly, Halls,
hold on. You're solid. You're solid.
Don't listen to her. Don't talk to her. Sis is literally like,
she's like,
let me win.
Trying to make a deal, you know. And also, like, I think, even though for the most part everyone kind of knows that like these 6 people are working together, like, it's not like common knowledge that it's the 6 shooters. Like, not everybody knows all the details. So like, why not put in a little work of like faking that you're gonna make a deal with somebody? And, you know, like, I feel like they're still kind of playing the game a little bit, but Jackson is playing it way too intensely and like being like, don't listen to Sis, don't listen to her, you're solid. And Sis is kind of like, Jackson, we're on the same side. Like, what's going on?
Well, they should be on the same side, but the cracks are
forming
there,
which is great.
And so Jackson, visibly in front of everyone, is not letting Holly drop. And eventually Sis does just like slip out. Like, she's trying her best, but she slips out, and all of a sudden Holly wins. And Sis is legit ticked.
She's so mad.
She's like scurrying off. She's like, don't talk to me, Jackson.
Yeah, she's like, don't touch me.
And Jackson obviously is ecstatic because he's basically gets to be HOH right now.
Right, so he gets to kind of call the shots this week. Well, after the HOH competition, of course Nick and Sam are both like totally deflated because they're like, well, we're effed now. Yeah. Like we're both going on the block for sure, so this is not great. And then we do see Sis like venting to Tommy and Christy, and she's like, I am like, if Nick doesn't go up on the block this week, I am done working with Jackson. Like I'm so sick of this. Why would he do this? And Christy's like, I totally get it. Like you're totally right. You're the better person in this situation. Like, you know, just trying to let her vent, but like kind of like ease Christy's the flames a little bit.
I don't like Jackson either.
Yeah, right. She's like, we'll get him eventually kind of thing, right?
We also get a little bit of the whole Christy versus Jackson. Like, so this whole edit I thought was interesting because there were a bunch of us mad that Jackson didn't get any penalty for his have-not behavior last week.
Us included.
But I thought CBS kind of was like, well, how will you take this instead? How about this? We're not going to paint him in a pretty picture. And I was like, I see you, CBS, and I'll take it. Thank you.
I will. Thank you.
Yeah, Jackson didn't look good. We got Sis mad at him. We got Christy upset with him.
Oh, yeah.
And they showed him just being kind of abrasive.
Yeah. We do see that whole separate conversation with Christy and Tommy where Christy's like, I'm done with Jackson, like as soon as we can take him out, like let's take him out. And Tommy's like, yeah, sure. Like they kind of both recognize like he's got to go eventually. Like he's kind of a liability, right? Because like Tommy's like, especially the way he treats women, like everybody sees it in the house. And so it's just a matter of time before they take that shot.
We also see Jackson sort of planting nuggets in Holly's brain of Christy is dangerous.
Yeah, this is like when the editors are really working overtime to make us think that maybe Holly's not going to nominate Nick and Sam side by side on the block, right?
Yes, this is all to just like throw us off the scent. Like this wasn't going to be a super boring nominations thing.
Right.
When it was. But the point is, the cracks are there.
The cracks are there, 100%.
Jackson is saying
Christy's
dangerous.
Yeah.
Christy is saying Jackson gotta go. So that's real. That is there.
That is there, yeah.
But it wasn't gonna happen.
It wasn't gonna happen. There was also the conversation about like, well, do I really want to put them up side by side? Maybe I need to use Nicole as a pawn, blah, blah, blah. Just like all these tactics to try to make us think like, maybe it's not gonna be the most obvious move. But at the end of the day, it is. And I honestly don't blame Holly for making this move because I don't think she needs, it's not smart for her game to like make waves in a nomination ceremony. Maybe backdooring somebody is a possibility, but there's no reason for her to like put up an alliance member, which is of course what we want, but it makes no sense for her to do that at the nomination stage of her HOH. Like,
right, it really doesn't.
You know.
This is going, as soon as she won, it's like she has to put Nick and Sam up.
Right.
Like it just doesn't make any sense to do anything else for her and her alliance.
Yeah.
Sam did some great work
He did.
Wasn't fully shown, but they showed a little bit of like
talking to Holly and Jackson.
You know, if you think that this is how y'all's little sixes working out, you know, I could be useful for that. Like he definitely worked hard. He went up there a couple times. And Nick and Sam were somewhat naively hopeful that just one of them was going to be up.
Yeah.
They didn't realize that both of them were going to be up. And there was this funny moment on the live feeds that, because Kat knew, Kat's in on all these conversations, and she comes down and Nick and Sam are sitting by themselves in the boat room. And she was like, hey, if one of y'all gets House Guest Choice, will you pick me to play Veto? And they go, wait, so we're both going up? And she's like, I didn't mean that. And they were like, what?
Yeah.
So they really thought like there was some hope for like one of them.
No.
But no. So we get to see the nominations.
Right.
And she's like,
Yeah, speaking of Kat, she really is kind of saving this season while we're like trying to just make it through the weeks until the six shooters completely fall apart. But there's the whole segment about her being a conspiracy theorist and not believing that the moon landing happened and believing in aliens. And, you know, don't even get me started on JFK because people will come after me. And Tupac is definitely alive with a long beard, just like walking around in plain sight, everybody. Like, Kat is amazing. Like, I never thought that I was going to enjoy her as much as I do.
Yeah, I know she's like kind of playing up a character, but I think a lot of this is just innately in her. Yeah.
She's so fun.
And she is entertaining, and I remember when Jackson broke up with her and I was like, oh man, she's so much more fun.
Yes.
So glad Jackson broke up with her.
Right.
But now I'm like, even better that Jackson has crossed her because she has this vendetta.
Oh yeah.
Again, I can't wait.
It's
gonna be so good.
Wait. It's gonna be great.
Okay, does that mean spoilers?
Spoilers. So, after the HOH competition, you know, Nick and Sam are both on the blocks. They're both gunning for the veto.
Right, exactly.
Right?
They know that they have to win veto.
They're like playing their own game now because they're both on the block. So they're like, one of us is gonna be saved if we win the veto, and the other one is probably going home, but they're like probably very individually focused.
And they are such good friends, and they work so well together, and they know that like this game is just a mess, that it's like hypocritical. The rest of the house can do whatever, but they say anything and it's like, oh, well, you guys are gone.
Oh yeah.
Like they see it now.
Right.
So they're like, we can't campaign for each other. Like we have to like really have our own game, and they're okay with that.
Yeah.
But veto happens.
And Nick wins.
Nick wins it.
I like Sam more, so I would have preferred Sam to have won the veto. And now, realistically, like, Sam is probably gonna go home because what Holly did is she renommed Kat. I don't think anybody's really gunning for Kat at this point.
And that's exactly why she put Kat up, is to make sure that Sam goes.
Right.
I think it's a bummer that Sam's going, but honestly, Nick is the one that I think showed a smidge of potential in the beginning. So I'm hoping that he gets, with having this new chance, or the second chance, that maybe some of that comes back now that he sort of has more information and isn't pretending that he's in with people.
Right.
So I kind of have hope for Nick. We'll see.
Yeah.
But here's what's exciting in this very boring HOH week.
Yeah, right.
This is what's exciting. The 6 straight falling apart.
Yes. The 6 are sort of starting to come at each other, or at least starting to plan to come at each other.
Yes.
But nothing's coming to fruition yet because nobody's ready to rock that boat yet.
Right.
But Holly and Jackson were kind of thinking like, we don't use Kat like an obvious pawn like that. What if we did this, but like Christy was ready for it, right? Like the other side of the house knows it's coming.
Yes, it started with Kat. Kat didn't want to be a pawn, even though she actually suggested it. But then she was like, oh, that was such a dumb idea.
Yeah.
She was like, you know who's shady? Nicole.
Right.
So Kat worked really hard on making Nicole this threat.
And Holly's receptive to that.
Yeah, Holly's head was like, you know what? A good point, Kat.
Nicole is shady.
And Sam also made some good points about how he might take someone out for us. So with that information together, Holly's like, I think I should maybe consider keeping Sam and getting rid of Nicole.
Right.
But there's a few problems with that. As in, a lot of other people are like, why would we leave Sam and Nick together?
Right.
That makes no sense.
So Christy very smartly, like to her little group, is like, listen, this is like before that whole conversation happened, right? Christy's like, if Holly and Jackson pitch not getting rid of Sam and putting someone else up as a target, we know they're starting to gun for us because there's no reason that we should keep Nick and Sam.
She's so self-absorbed.
Well, of course, yes.
It's really her.
She's manifested it that they're coming for her. And so she's like, there's no reason for us to keep Nick and Sam in the house this week. So if they start to pitch another target, we know. Right,
and that's kind of what her and Tommy have done with Nick. They're like, hey, Nick, stay in. Come on in. You
come back to us.
Useful against Jackson.
Yeah,
baby.
We want you to take the shot.
So then they're like, well, if that's what Holly and Jackson are doing, it must be to keep Sam for us, right? So there's a lot of that talk. There's a lot of Kat revealing herself, a lot of Sis saying too much because Sis wants to keep Sam.
Too, yes.
She can't think of the game really, but she heard some good words from Sam and she thinks that she needs Sam in the game, even though that makes no sense for the rest of 6 shooters or anybody else.
So Sis is like, I'm the queen of the world, like I have a minion now. And so she's like feeling so good about this. And so she kind of goes to the group and it's like, I have Sam in my pocket. He's with me, Sam. And they're like, wait a minute, Sam's with you, but he's not with us.
Yeah, you can't talk to your alliance when you're like, but this person's gonna look out for me. And you're like, we're a group.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Right.
But she did have this thing with Nick, and now she's mad at Nick. I don't know if there's some spite involved of like, I refuse to be with you, Nick. I'm gonna be with Sam. Like, anyway, hot mess all over the place.
Yes.
They're coming together to be like, no, I would never say that. Jackson's like, no, I'm cool with you. Like, they're all like pretending that everything's fine.
They're all like backtracking and damage control.
But it is catching up. And honestly, we talked in the beginning about like Christy's mouth is gonna catch up with her.
Yeah.
And I was surprised that it took this long.
I know.
But it is starting to catch up with her. But also Jackson's mouth is catching up with him. A lot of mouths are catching up.
Yes, right. Finally, it's about time, right?
Yes.
But they keep talking, like, I gotta bring this up. They keep talking about, like, let's save so-and-so to take the shot at these people, or let's save this person to take the shot this way. But then those people never win HOH. The 6 shooters keep winning these competitions. So you gotta let these people win HOH if you want them to take any kind of shot at your competition. It's a weird strategy to have, like, oh, let's keep this person to take the shot, if that person's never going to win HOH and actually take any kind of shot.
I don't think 6 shooters were willing to let that happen until now. Now that the cracks are really there.
Yeah.
They might this HOH coming up, but previously they just weren't ready. And even this HOH, they're not ready. Like Jackson and Holly, with all of this sort of shadiness of this conversation and this conversation, ultimately, Holly backed off, got scared that her game was in jeopardy, put Kat up because everyone agreed she's a great pawn, but she could have said, screw all of this, I'm gonna put Christy up.
Yeah.
Like, she could have done it this HOH, but they didn't. Like, that's the thing, like, they've been all talk for a few weeks, but not actually ready to pull the trigger.
Right.
And even, like, Cliff had put Jack and Jackson up. At any time during that HOH, they could have been like, you guys, this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
But did they? No, they went through all that work to put Bella up and save Jack. Like, nobody is willing to actually make the first, well, it's not the first because they did go after Nick and Bella, but like the 6 shooters, they're not willing to actually go after each other.
Right. And I think even though Holly could have, like, she could have sort of seen how the veto ceremony went, like, kept an eye on Christy, are you going to use that power? And then Christy doesn't use the power and she could be like, guess what, Christy, you're the renom, and she probably could have gotten Christy out.
Yes.
But, like, I don't really know if that's the best move for her right now. Like, it's a good thing to have on your resume, but, like, there are still people in the house who are, like, comp threats and could come after you because of that. Like, I think Holly's definitely, like, playing an under-the-radar game.
She is.
And that's not, she probably could never be convinced to make that move.
Her game is so under the radar that when she won HOH, CBS was like, ooh.
Oh, we haven't put her in the diary room at all this season.
You know what? Let's do an HOH room reveal.
Yeah, show some emotion from her.
Let's talk about her as a person because
we know nothing about Holly so far.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was not going to want to make a big move or do anything. She was going to do exactly what the Alliance had told her to do. But I disagree with you. I think that this is exactly the time that she and Jackson could have put Christy up there and just done the work. They're in the 6.
Holly and Jackson?
Yeah, they could try to get Sis out. Well, Sis was already like, I want to keep Sam.
Maybe,
so they probably could have got Sis. They definitely could have got Cliff. They've been working on him. They could have got Nicole. They could have got Jess. They already have Kat.
Yeah.
Like, there are ways they could have done it and just been ready for battle. They're not as weak as, like, Cliff. Like, Cliff can't make that, even though we all wanted him to.
Yeah.
He can't do that. But Holly and Jackson are armed.
And I guess, like, maybe it would be a good move for Holly because even if she got Christy out, like, there are still way bigger targets in the house than her. Like, people would rather get Jackson out way before Holly.
That's gonna fall on Jackson. That's not actually gonna fall on Holly.
Yeah, right. But she could still potentially take credit for it.
Right,
down the
exactly.
line. Yeah. So.
But I think that this is just representative of this season. Like, they'd be like, yeah, we're gonna do that eventually.
Yeah.
Let's set it up for this.
But nobody's ballsy enough to actually do it.
The Cliff is the only one.
Yep.
This is why I will not talk bad about Cliff. He's the only one
Yes.
who had the balls to do any of this.
Yeah, right. But I think, like you were saying earlier, Nick, it's a little promising that Nick is still in the game. He has won the veto and saved himself, because if he has a chance to win HOH, I think he could win the competition, and he was playing a good social game early on, but he will definitely be, like, his guns are loaded at this point. So if he gets a chance to target somebody big, I think he definitely will.
Now, he wanted to go after Christy and Tommy, but Christy and Tommy have been the ones to try to be like, we're all good, let's do this together, hoping he'll go after Jackson. So I think a lot of people would be willing to let Nick win HOH this week, but I don't know if they're gonna take. He's gonna take the shot that they want him to take the shot, right? It just it's who social gamed enough with him, who made him feel like it's all good. That's to be determined, but we'll get there on Thursday.
Right.
Because that's way things have to happen before then.
Yes.
But the upside is the 6 is falling apart, so one of these days.
Finally.
They're going to go after each other, and maybe the Cliffs and the Nicoles of the world can then
rise up. Yes.
There might be hope, you guys. There might.
Right. Well, things are happening now, so that's exciting.
Yeah, but more than likely Sam is going this week.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's any chance that Kat will go over Sam.
No, I don't see any work that he can do to make some sort of case against Kat.
R.I.P. Sam's game.
Yep.
Yeah.
R.I.P. You were entertaining.
Yes, you were.
I enjoyed your screaming in the DR.
Yeah. But
that was fun.
Bye.
You guys, yesterday was David's birthday!
Oh, happy belated birthday to me.
Wish David a happy birthday and tell us what you think about this boring week.
Yeah.
This HOH that was so predictable.
Yes, and tell us what your dream path forward is.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we will be here on Thursday after the live eviction.
Yes, we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.